We start with 1 hour chart. We want to see how we can look for trade. Before I start the analysis, I need to highlight about the Twitter and Telegram groups. I create these groups and I share all the YouTube links there. Since sometimes on YouTube, I receive the comments, they cannot get the notification. And beside that, in Telegram, if there is any news, any update, I will share. And even they can refer to the playlist on the YouTube to find the latest update. Okay, at least this is the easiest way for them to look for the latest update. In this case, we move to a 1 hour chart. We want to see how we can look for trade. There is no much changes if we refer to our analysis in my last video, because we mentioned if you want to look for sell, let this one turn to a deeper correction. Right now, mostly when we see this kind of the corrective move in relative to the sharp, we can look for price to drop. But one things we need to know, whether we should look for sell or not. Okay, and how we can look for sell. Beside that, I mean, before we move to 15 minute, all right? Even based on 15 minute, we don't see any information. Mostly we can see the divergence above here. Okay, now what's the next? Whether we should look for sell or not. Okay, if we want to look for sell, the only, I mean, we want to see how we can look for sell. The first option, one of the option is to put our entry below this. And what we want the price sharply break and continue. And the second option, if we see any sharp move, flag or correction, we take the trade. Then with the breakout of this low, we start to manage. And mostly we prefer the second option. Okay, but one thing we need to know, even if we take the sell, if I move to higher time frame, it will be more clear. If I move to forward chart, we're going to sell at the lowest price of here. And how about if we get the sell, the price, the retest the previous low and reverse? Whether we should look for sell or not, it depends on the traders. Okay, then let us start with the higher time frame and see what we have in the bigger picture. Based on daily chart, since we had this sharp move and right now we're looking at this correction, for sure, if we get any trade for buy, this is what we're looking for. Okay, but right now based on daily chart and even forward chart, we don't have any trade setup. And if I move to forward chart, as I mentioned, the best option to look for trade, if we want to look for buy, we want to see at least one more drop with the breakout of the previous low. Then any reversal from there, we take the trade. But if the price drop and break the previous low, how deep it can go, we cannot confirm. Okay, and even there is a possibility the price can drop and retest the previous low out of the structure. But what we see here, for sure, I mean, mostly we want to get one more drop. We see the breakout of the previous low, then any reversal, we can look for buy, because we expecting this one turn to big a correction, and this is the first move. That means we need to get one move up. It doesn't mean the price cannot reverse from here. We're talking about the best option. Okay, now whether we should sell from here or not, it depends on the traders. They should know that where they are going to sell almost at the lowest price of this correction, whether they want it or not. But if he wants to look for buy, we prefer to get one more drop. Okay, now if I move to 1 hour chart, as I mentioned, if he wants to look for sell, either we put our entry below this. What we want the price sharply break and continue with the price tag within 1 or 2 hours. We see there is no movement. We just take out the trade. But I need to highlight here that having entry below this to look for sell is not really good idea. It depends on the traders. The best thing is if he wants to look for sell, we see the sharp move, correction of flag. Then from there, we take the sell. That means if we get any sharp move, correction, then we put on our entry below the flag or correction. Then if there is a drop, we take the trade, and with the breakout of this low, which is 1.55, we start to manage it. This is the better way to look for trade rather than put our entry below here. Okay. And but what I'm looking for, I want to see one more drop with the breakout of the previous low. Then any reversal from there, I take the trade for buy. And even if, for me, if I want to look for sell, I prefer the price confirm the breakout of the previous low. Then if we see the continuation from there, we look for sell rather than the selling here. Okay. Anyway, right now we're looking at this. We want to see one more drop or not. It doesn't mean the price cannot reverse from here. If the price reverses as a corrective move, we are not going to look for trade. The only way we consider to whether we should look for buy or not, if we get any sharp move with the flag, we see the breakout of this correction. Then from there we see whether we should look for buy or not. We cannot confirm right now. And right now the only things I'm looking for, I want to see whether we can get any drop with the breakout of the previous low or not. In this case, we just follow the chart. If I see any update, I will share. Thanks.